Alright, today we're going to look at our basic assembly constraints, and I'll do this in a two-part videos. First part is where we create our basic pieces that we're going to use. On Google Classroom, you'll find something called Basic Assembly Constraints Practice. And our first step that we have is we're going to be creating like our ortho blocks that we used in our sketching and dimension unit. So first thing we'll need to do is create a cylinder, a triangle, a cube, and a cube with a hole. So I'll go ahead and walk you through how to do that. So we'll go into Inventor, and here I have some unsaved work. So as I'm here in Inventor, I'll be doing a new part, standard IPT. I'll be creating that 2D sketch. And I'll choose my circle because I need to do a cylinder. I click once, and as I move out, I need to make this 1 inch. So I hit my 1 inch tab, I hit enter. And as it looks large, it's really not all that large. It's all this about the zoom. Now I could finish the sketch. I could extrude it, and our cylinder was 1 inch tall, so I could hit the green check OK. Now at this point, I might go ahead and change the color. You might wonder how to do that. So far, we've done a lot of things in gray. All right, where it says default, I could click on there, and I could go ahead and choose different colors for my pieces. So this one, let's see, just a yellow. Now I have a yellow cylinder. Now as I do that, go ahead and I can hit my eye in the sky. I can go ahead and hit save as, and double check that you're saving this in your right spot. I'm going to put this in my own folder for me to use. I could just call it yellow cylinder. It's fine. And I can go ahead and hit save. So you want to make sure again that yours is in your directory. Double check. So bam, I already have that. So I could do another new part, so I could close this one out and do another new part. And going back to check to see what I needed to do, I needed to do a triangle, needed to do a cube with hole. So let's go ahead and try that triangle. I'll do my start 2D sketch, choose my plane. And one of the things you might have noticed that, okay, there isn't like a triangle piece. What can I do? Well, you could do this in two ways. You could do your line tool, and you could start at your origin. So clicking once, and you could go up 1 inch, hit your tab key, make sure that you got that straight line. Click again. So there you're all set with your one straight line. Now I could go ahead and zoom out so I could see what I'm doing. And I know I need to have another 1 inch. So I could hit 1, I could hit my tab key, and I want to make sure I get it straight to that 90 degrees. Now that I have that, I could click, and now I just got my last one. Now that I got my last one, I could go ahead and take it home. The distance is going to be longer here, and it turns green, and bam. So now I got my triangle piece. I could go ahead and finish the sketch, and then my last thing I need to do is that extrude. And I could extrude it by 1 inch, all set. And if I wanted to go ahead and change the color, I could go ahead and change the color. So for this one, let's try driftwood. All right, there it is. Go ahead and I do my save as, and I could call this wood triangle. Hit my save. Okay, so I have that. Going back to see what my next part is, I need to do a cube. Go back to Inventor. I could get rid of this one. Do a new. Have the standard, and I could hit create. And now I could go to my 2D sketch, just like we did before, XY plane. Here I could use my rectangle feature. And I want this to be 1 by 1, so I type in 1, tab key, 1, tab key. I see it's 1 by 1. Click, Finish the sketch. Just zoom it out so we can see the square. Now I can go ahead and extrude. Got my 1 inch. Perfect. So again, I could go ahead and change the color. So this one, let's try gold. Alright, that one's not too nice of a gold. Let's go ahead and try something different. Ooh, gunmetal, cool. Alright, hopefully you're enjoying my voices. I can go ahead and save as gunmetal cube, hit enter. And one of the things I'm able to do, if you didn't like the gunmetal, if you wanted something else, maybe you're looking for a nice magenta, I could change the color to magenta. And watch, I could do a save as again, and I could just replace that gunmetal to my magenta cube. Now by doing that, I have now 2 different cubes. I have one that's magenta and one that's gunmetal. So now I have kind of 2 of the same cubes, so that's totally fine. And now you'll notice there's one last thing that I needed to do. I needed to go ahead and do the cube with a hole. So in order to do that, I could go back in Inventor, and I could go ahead and, this we're not trying to be perfect. I'm using that same magenta one, and I'm going to start a 2D sketch, and I could do it on any one of these surfaces. Let's choose the top. As I'm here, I'm just going to kind of move over. And one of the things I could do to make sure I have a nice perfect circle, if I want it right in the middle, some of you might already be thinking this, I could make an X. I could draw an X from here to that point. And right now I'm going to hit my escape key, so I got one line. I'm going to do my next line. Try that again. Yeah, a little trouble with my clicking. So now that if you see your X, now I could go ahead and do my circle, and that way I could start right in the middle, because I know right where those intersect would be the middle. And I could go ahead and make it as big or little as I want, but let's say we make it 1/4 of an inch, so that would be 0.25. I tab key, hit enter. There's my circle. I could hit finish sketch. I should be able to go ahead and extrude. And this time I just want to make sure I'm choosing that circle. And right now I just want to change the direction of the extrude, which you should hopefully have seen from our additive and subtractive. So I change the direction to. Check. Perfect. So now you can go ahead and see that. Oh, got my hole, goes all the way through. Now if you're worried about saving over that magenta cube, don't worry, we didn't save anything yet. I'm going to change it to a different color, maybe an orange red. Do the file, or the eye in the sky rather. I hit save as. And now I could go ahead and save it as cube with hole. So now right now I have all those different parts. And I could even check that when I do a save as. You'll see that I have my cube with hole, my gunmetal cube, my magenta cube. This one says magenta L cube, sorry, typo. Wood triangle, and yellow cylinder. So I have all my parts that I use for my ortho block. So I could go ahead and just make sure I'm all set. And then we'll see in part 2 of the video of how to assemble them together.